Hey everybody, sorry to keep you waiting. Welcome to Kahuna Reads. I am, as always, Kahuna the Elder. I am just finalizing, and we're going to do a sticker giveaway again today. So I'm just finalizing that raffle here so we can get everybody having some fun. Hope you guys have had a great weekend. I have spent mine redoing the Kahuna lair. As you can see, my green screen is back. On the other side, of course, is Mrs. Kahuna's teaching space for her virtual classrooms, and we put up a sound dampening rug to keep the sound down and bouncing around the room, because we had flat walls that opposed each other, which create ugly echoes. So I have been spending a whole lot of time this weekend hanging rugs and green screen and the whole 9 yards. So, but back up on the normal. I still have to figure out exactly the colors on the screen aren't quite right. See, they kind of do some weird stuff. So I think I need more lighting. So I'll be putting that up. Raffle is now open, and it is again for the Kahuna the Elder sticker. Do I have one? I do. That's right. As I've said before, don't know if it'll work, but you can even use it like one of those super sealed things. Try it. Couldn't hurt. Got leaky plumbing? Use the Kahuna. I make no promises. Let's see. Stormbro, welcome. Yours is actually the article you posted is actually going to be the first one up. And prepare to be boarded. Welcome to Sable's stream. Welcome all. Please come into the revamped lair. That's right. You can see I have space around me now, and cloudy fog stuff down here somewhere. Still got to work on the green screen stuff. Since I've moved, it's a little wonky, but we'll get it done. Let's see. Esong, welcome. Yours is the second story I'm going to read today. Let's see. What a thing to walk into. Need to fix the plumbing? Use the Kahuna. Sticker. So remember, you want to win a sticker. Exclamation point raffle. I'm expecting to see a whole bunch of those. RPG's Dinosaur Bob, welcome. Aaron, also welcome. Walking Dead, also welcome. DM Stretch, Dizzy Backspin. Dizzy, I still need to get your info to get you a mug. Let's see. Thank you for the backdrop. A really cool backdrop. It's fairly simple, but it is a Streamlabs OBS kind of thing. Thank you, Sable. Welcome again. Green screen is looking better. It's still not 100%, but I'm working on it. All right, and people are starting to enter for the raffle. You, Danny, welcome. As you can see, Maui the Helper is helping get the raffle tickets out there. So we're having fun with that. 2 tiki mugs. Yes. Tiki mugs are great. And I am working on, as long as I can sneak the payment for them past Mrs. Kahuna, actual tiki mugs. Black ceramic tiki mugs. Because that would be the coolest. Aaron's in the raffle. Everybody's getting going. Awesome. So, like I said, most of the revamp here in the Kahuna Lair / virtual classroom is done. I'm happy with it. My back is killing me. My shoulders are killing me. My legs are killing me. So it'll be lots of Advil tonight. My botanies often say, "You're welcome." just kind of throw it out there. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Let's see. Ooh, that would be cool. Yes, real tiki mugs. I'm working on it. Yes, DM Stretch, thank you for the Kahuna crowns. We're getting there. We're at about 45% of the way to the first one, which is the big free stuff one. Esong just got their own green screen for virtual teaching. Awesome. Once you get used to it, you'll have lots of fun with it, because you can get lots of stuff in the background, and It's a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun just doing different stuff on the green screen. Also, my phone wants to autocorrect virtual to burial. Not far off in some cases. That's awesome. All right, let's get to some reads. As always, folks, if you want a read in this stream right now, I've only have 2 of them queued up. So if you want to read in this stream, go ahead and pop the link in there. If you have a question during the stream, do the usual question in all caps and then followed by it because my eyes are just getting old. Otherwise, let's get to reading. So the first one is going to be Storm Brills. And let's see here. I got a chance to read this one over ahead of time, and I think we're going to have some fun with this. This one is called The Mark of the Snake. So we'll have some of this one because there's going to be some... there's going to be some... No one needs to see my message, and I prefer to ignore what I'm trying to ignore when I'm streaming. I am so excited. I'm glad, Stormbrill. This is going to be fun because there's lots of voices in this one. So let me switch it over to where you guys can see it. Let me get out of my squeaky chair here and let's start. Oh, and welcome, AJ, before I get started. Welcome. Mark of the Snake. A warning for the naive, a punishment for the guilty. You there! Yes, you with the nose! You look like someone who could benefit greatly from my patented product, the Cure-All Concoction. It'll get rid of your boils, your bruises, your bumps, baldness, bad breath. Hey, unhand me! Hey, help me! I'm a legitimate salesman. You can't arrest me! A public apprehension of a snake. Cathedrus is experiencing a technological boom like it has never seen before. New discoveries and inventions are made on a weekly basis, and humans across the world struggle to keep up. A certain breed of criminal known as snakes has in modern times taken advantage of this situation. These business folk, sly talkers, and charismatic friends prey on the ignorance and naivete of common cathedrans, selling them all sorts of fake or even dangerous products under false pretenses. The country of Artesia, long known for its strict rules of governance and its authoritarian ways, has adopted a zero-tolerance policy toward snakes of late. Should the country's lawkeepers catch a snake in the act, the snake is immediately taken into custody and soon branded across the backs of both hands with the mark of the snake. The mark is a simple, plainly drawn snake hung by its own tail, symbolizing the consequences that the offending party has brought upon themselves via their actions. When used as a brand, seared into the offending party's skin, the mark is simplified. Most of the detail is reduced, and there is no extra information added. The mark of the snake is not always used in this format, however. Occasionally, a snake is granted a one-time warning. Instead of being branded, their shop, products, and advertisements will all be painted over with the mark, informing all who sees it that the product in question is obviously fake. Countries other than Artesia have taken note of the mark and begun implementing it in similar ways. Most countries forego the branding, believing it to be cruel and unusual punishment, even for criminals profiting off of innocent people's ignorance. However, the country of Han soon employ the most similar methods to Artesia. Instead of branding, they tattoo the mark onto the offending party. The Hansun legal system believes it affords them far more control over the information shown via the mark, and consider it much less barbaric. Oh, come on, man! I'm trying to run a legitimate business here. These are high-quality goods. It's not my fault if people are allergic to them. Those breakouts of rashes are probably unrelated anyway. Speed Sav saleswoman. Additional information is generally included with the mark of the snake, when it's painted on signs, pasted on products, or tattooed on offenders. This extra information comes as a symbol or icon placed in the direct center of the mark, and it is used to denote what the offending party was attempting to peddle. Occasionally, an overzealous magistrate might decree that a snake shall have a symbol branded along with the mark, but it is generally not done, as the brand generally scars into an unsightly, unrecognizable blob. The medicinal symbol are for snakes who attempt to peddle any sort of healing medicine, substance, salve, balm, or pill. They are oftentimes considered the worst offenders, as the lies they sell are usually dangerous and generally result in injury or death for the fooled victim. For combat, when the mark of the snake is encircling a simple dagger, it means the offender was caught attempting to sell faulty, underdeveloped weaponry, but that would more likely injure the wielder before it ever injured its target. The least serious of the main three symbols found on the mark is the hammer, indicating that a snake was trying to pass garbage or ineffective technology off as useful household tools, swindling people out of their hard-earned money, but generally not costing them their lives. Example products to avoid. The Full Body Cleansinator. Are you tired of being tired? Sick of feeling like crap? Well, hold on to your rendlings, because I've got just the thing for you. A Full Body Cleansinator salesman. The product was discovered to be nothing more than dish soap in a ceramic jar. Fungicidal cream. We all have to deal with them. Warts. 'Tis a fact of life. But what if we didn't? What if a cream existed that had erased those warts from existence? The cream was tested and found to be 1 part common mud and part corrosive liquid. This here rapier? It's made of diamond glass. Single strongest material humanity has ever discovered. The rapier was collected and examined to be a long shard of broken glass taped to a short wooden rod. Look at me. Look at how short I am. You probably think I can't reach the highest shelves. Well, you're wrong. With the Extendo Grabo, I can reach anything. Extendo Grabos were, in fact, poorly constructed, single-shot harpoon guns. And that is what we have about the mark of the snake. Thank you for giving me one that has lots of voices, because those are so much fun to go back and forth with. Mrs. Kahuna is here. Welcome, Mrs. Kahuna. She's literally downstairs. But she's not coming online today. She did her stint on Friday. By the way, we're going to do that more regularly. She may not come for the whole stream, but she will come for at least part of the stream on Fridays. We had a great conversation on Friday about writing. She is an English teacher and math teacher, and so we were able to get into a great conversation about writing on the stream Friday. So that was a lot of fun, and she gives me a hard time all the time. So let's see. Stormbrill, I hope that matched your excitement level. Not message. E-song. All right, you guys, I'm going to break the wall here, because this is one of the reasons the green screen is up. That's what the Kahuna lair looks like right now behind the green screen, because I'm still working. So, we have to make do with what we have and what we can. Oh, leaving a lurk kidlet has computer needs. Oh no! Get that kidlet his computer. Let's see. Dinosaur Bob has a short story, so let me load that up so I have it ready when we're ready to go to it. E-song's going to be the next one. Copy link address. Let's throw it in here real quick. Let's see. Thank you, Barbarossa. And Mrs. Kahuna is happy because the Chicago Blackhawks are winning, which is rare in this postseason for them, at least this first round. Aloha! Make sure you've got your raffle tickets in. Rapier description is funny. I like that one a lot. And Stormbrill, I'm glad you liked it. Window into Kahuna Madness. At least for this weekend, yeah. This has been it's been a project. And there's still, I probably have a whole nother weekend's worth of stuff to do. Actually, more like 2 weekends, because there's actually going to be a Murphy bed built into here. I'm building that in so that if we have guests, we can actually use this room. Yes, the wall is broken, but I fixed it. Not so many voices in this one, but hopefully still enjoyable. I enjoy all of them. I hope I do it justice so that everybody else enjoys it. Where do we link these? In the Discord? So, if you want them read right now, drop the link in right here. I do not have link jail. If during the week you come up with one, go into my Discord, and there is a Kahuna Reads channel. Just drop them in there. And let me know if you guys need the link. Oh, what the heck, I'll just drop it in there. Silly to, tell you to drop it in there, and when I can just simply do this. Oh, it's telling me I have to follow my own chat rules. Okay, I got it. I'm following my own chat rules. All right, so let's drop you the Discord link real quick. And kabang. And it didn't do it. Oh, there it is. Had to wake up Maui. Gotta go back to work. Break out in less than a couple hours. Thank you, AJ. Have a great rest of your day at work. And thanks for coming for at least for a little while. Canucks 1-2. Our teams are doing well, and all is right in the universe. It's sticking to Hockey Night in Canada theme. Let's see. If I wanted to practice my soundboard booms and stuff, you could practice on my Toogie River feud you read before. Yeah, I want to try that. The problem I'm having is even though I have 3 full screens, there's just not enough real estate to do this stuff on stream and to catch it. I got to work on it. But I may do that one as kind of an off-stream one where I can add stuff in. So I dropped the Kahuna Discord channel there. How is my world doing, by the by? It's doing. I'm very tired from the, remodeling project here. But that's pretty much the way my weekends go. I do world building and that kind of stuff during the week, and then I shut down usually around Friday right after my stream, and then I'm working on this stuff until my stream on Sunday. So, and I work, try to get it all done in that time frame. So, a little tired. Advil helps. And, I have my caffeine. Look, hydrating. By the way, said it before, these guys do not, I don't get paid for them or anything like that, but these iron flasks, worth their weight in gold. They do a great job of keeping things cool for long periods of time. So, Mrs. Kahuna, teaching question. Do you have experience teaching jigsaw activities? Well, Mrs. Kahuna, if you're still there, there's a question for you. That would be fine. I hope it turns into fun for you. Yeah, that could be fun. And you know what? It's at the next level of things. 3 screens is really not enough sometimes. Yeah, I can always use one more. Yeah, I think if I had an entire wall of screens, it wouldn't be enough. And the funny thing was, for a while, believe it or not, I was using a 32-inch screen plus a smaller screen, like a 21-inch, plus my laptop. The 32-inch just made my eyes hurt because it was too close. And so by the time I got far enough from it, it just hurt. Here's a challenge for me. It's the short story I did for the Conline challenge. I have in-story explanations on how to pronounce the Orcish, and you're supposed to do it wrong to start with. Plus lots of different voices. Okay, that one's going to go in too. I'm going to go back to school next week. Any suggestion on good bottles? Yeah, these iron flask things. Holy moly. They are icy. On a good day, I can fill it with ice, and by the next morning, it still has ice in it. So, definitely. Okay, let me put Sables there, and I got to get back to reading here. I'll put Sables over here, so we got the queue going here. All right, so next up is E-Songbirds. Let's see. Let me take a quick look here. There is, all right, there are voices there. All right, so let's switch over. web share. There's the screen. All right. So this is Chief Gadalathan. The requirements to become a chief. To earn the rank of chief's warrior, a warrior must do the following during battle. 1. Touch or strike the first enemy down, dead or alive. 2. Wrestle a weapon from an enemy. 3. Enter the enemy camp at night and steal an eel mount. And 4. Successfully command a war party. Once all 4 requirements are met, the other chiefs gather together in a formal ceremonial. Words are hard. Once all 4 requirements are met, the other chiefs gather together in a formal ceremonial meeting to review the warrior's achievements. Once the warrior is found to be worthy, the chiefs make a ceremonial armband outlining the new chief's war honors. The armband is presented during the naming ceremony. Warriors elevated to chief have a public naming ceremony. Town chiefs proclaim the warrior's war deeds to the crowd. This is done with much celebratory hooting and hollering from the warriors in attendance. Once all the war deeds are announced, the head chief presents the armband to the Queen Ethelyn Aronoth for official consideration. The Queen announces her approval and invites the Minister of Defense to step forward. They place their hands on the warrior's head and proclaim a new name for the warrior chief. The newly instated chief then sits in the center of a ceremonial dance outlining the glorious battles within the tribe's history. The ocean bears witness to your deeds, and the Gadalatha listen. I declare myself one with the ocean, a seeker of the old ways. I wish that Aquiriel's path and the path he has been called to be declared as one. With this new name, you assume the mantle of courage and strength. Rise in honor, and be known hereafter as Aquiriel, the one who strikes true. Queen Ethelyn Aronoth, at the naming ceremony of Aquiriel. The chiefs are responsible for taking care of the warriors in the tribal quarter. They are responsible for leading war parties and coordinating mission to the deep ocean caverns. They are also responsible for helping soldiers transition to home life after battles. They are responsible for handling negotiations for prisoners. They also draft petitions to the Queen for trade and other city investments. Chiefs regularly meet and counsel together on local issues, including but not limited to hunting, raiding, farming, caring for warriors returning from battle, and presiding over death rituals for deceased warriors. They are responsible for knowing the affairs happening in their quarter, and provide the Queen with monthly written reports. Every 4 months, the tribal chiefs meet with the Queen in person. They receive great honor and prestige throughout the community. Their family is able to include sacred symbols recognizing this distinction on their armor and other items. They don't receive a paycheck from the city, but they do receive a percentage of any raiding loot. They are also able to directly petition the Queen on issues they deem important. Chiefs are also able to get their pick of the warrior eels. Chiefs are responsible for housing and protecting the sacred tapu items of the tribe. Each family is tasked with a specific item. While that item is in the chief's house, the chief is considered blessed and protected by the item. Upon becoming a chief, they receive a carved narwhal tusk. The tusk is carved with the chief's family totems and is placed outside the family house. Tribal elders present the tusk on the 1-year anniversary of the naming ceremony. Chiefs that perform exceptionally honorable war tasks are presented with additional tusks carved with the village history. The tusk is presented by the warriors the chief has commanded in battle. The 2 tusks lean against each other to form an archway at the front of the chief's house. Chiefs that perform dishonorably in battle are swiftly and publicly stripped of all honors and titles. They are banished from the larger community and sent to the outskirts of town. Their faces are pressed up against the underside of a karaku, leaving them permanently scarred. Banished chiefs are sent through the city as what is known as the Walk of the Huakaba. After being marked by the Karaku, their weapon is broken in half, barnacles are placed on top of any honorable tattoos, and they are marched through the center of town. Members of the tribe line both sides of the street, throwing things at them and shouting out curses and jeers. Warriors are expected to be especially loud in their condemnation. Warriors that do not join in are considered sympathizers and supporters of cowardice. All right. Sorry for the... Man, some days there just isn't enough caffeine. Any advice for world-building regions? Wow, I wasn't in that mindset. Let me see. I guess I would need to know more about what you're looking to do, because world-building regions, most of the time regions are dictated by geography and the peoples within that geography. So they have to adapt. You have a mountainous region, well, that's dictated by the fact that there's mountains. If you have a plains region, those people tend to do different stuff, and that's how it would work. Izong, I hope I did it justice. I apologize. It's like, words are hard. It kind of, every once in a while, the tongue just kind of goes, and bleh. So, but doing these live, I just get to back up and try again. RPG Dinosaur Bob suggested the barnacles, and I thought scarring tattoos would be a great place for that to happen. Yeah, barnacles. Yeah, I would have to agree with Sable. Ow. Ow. All right, who's up next here? Oh, this was an article by Dinosaur Bob, written in manuscripts. So, real quick, Bob, did you want me to read everything here, or any particular article, or I missed it? Let's see. Let me go back up and see if it's in there. Where's Dinosaur Bob? Short story. Okay, so the whole thing. All right, cool. I can do that. That's a lot of mad typing. All right. So let's go to Dinosaur Bob's short story here. The name of the short story is Sleep. So, and this will be the first time I'm reading from a manuscript on World Anvil. So if I've got to kind of, continue reading the next part. Okay, that's how it looks like when it's up. Okay, cool. I'm actually starting to write in manuscripts now. Getting used to it. I haven't quite gotten the hang of it yet. But let's get started. Sleep. Chapter 1. The University. I, Karol Dragomir, looked over my shoulder, taking what I knew would be my last look at the Endemir University of Arcane Arts. Unimaginative asses, all of them. I thought as I adjusted the pack on my back and started down the street toward the east gate of the city. Apparently, while the masters at the university had no qualms using the corpses obtained for research purposes to teach students of the necromantic arts on how to animate corpses, they balked at the thought of even trying to instill these empty shells with enough consciousness to be useful. This was a challenge I had been thinking about for 6 years, since I arrived at the university and saw the mindless ones sweeping hallways and the library corridors. My instructors claimed that attempting to reawaken the mind of the dead was immoral, against the will of the gods. This coming from the same instructors that gleefully teach us to crush the bones of a living being from within, to choke the life out of a victim from across the room. They dare to judge something to be immoral? I spat onto the street as I recalled their hypocrisy. I should have been preparing my elixirs for the first test of the process. I had been working on these formulae in secret for the past 2 years. Countless hours were spent poring over tomes, ancient and new, in the university library. Still, more time was spent in deep discussions with the mutagenic practitioners of alchemy. Always careful to keep the details of my plan secret. I could not sleep, at least not restfully. Even in my dreams I saw possibilities, things to try, avenues of research to explore. I remember the determination I felt as my desire coalesced into a concept, and my joy as that concept sharpened into a plan. I was sure I would produce what I saw. An undead servant capable of comprehending more than 1 or 2 simple commands. A servant that would actually be useful. I had even envisioned demonstrating my theory with those short-sighted instructors at my side. I took glee in imagining their gasps of amazement as my creation responded as a thinking being would. Instead, I was walking through the east gate of Enmir, headed deeper into the frontierlands to find some town, some village, quiet enough and remote enough to allow me to finish my experimentation in peace. I would need to find a village with a graveyard, and a place to set up a workspace where I would not be disturbed. A place where the superstitious locals would not even know I was there, for I knew the way the common folk viewed the necromancer. They would not want me reanimating their loved ones. But what choice was there? I needed to find a place to complete my work. Chapter 2. On the Road. I was on the road for several weeks. First traveling east along the Farsi coast to South Cove, then south into the frontier's interior. There were a few hamlets along the road in addition to the towns of Meadows End and Laketon, but while all had graveyards, all were either too conspicuously located to permit me to do what I needed to do, or they were so infrequently added to that I would not have been able to find a sufficiently fresh corpse. Many nights I rested along the roadside, too uncomfortable to sleep. Other nights I had few coins I could afford for inn rooms, but only uncomfortable, common room accommodations, and again, discomfort kept sleep from me. Then I came to Dryad Falls. This was a large town with a cemetery separated from the town by a stretch of forest. It was secluded, and the town was sufficiently populated that it suffered deaths at least one every few days. I was able to break into a mausoleum that looked like it had not been visited in decades. There I set up my experiments and concocted my elixirs. 2 days later, the undertakers delivered me my first experimental subject. After digging up that night, I arranged the body and other accoutrements as required for the reanimation ritual. But as I performed the rites, it became clear that something was wrong. The body reanimated, but it lunged clumsily for me, clearly seeing me as either threat or prey, certainly not its master. Fortunately, the creature did not move well, so I was able to easily escape it. After leading it away from the mausoleum, I was able to circle back and recover all my equipment and supplies. But I realized that my animated creature was heading to the town, and so it became obvious that I could no longer stay and work here. The town would be able to deal with the creature easily enough, but it would also investigate, and I would surely be found. And so, instead of the sleep of triumph that I had looked forward to, I would instead spend the night fleeing yet another town. During the week's journey to the next town, Fabridge Crossing, I was able to review my ritual notes and realize my error. At least I could expect to perform that part of my experiment correctly next time. During the evenings of my journey, and the anticipation of success and the fear of abject failure competed to prevent me from getting any decent rest. I had hoped that Fabridge Crossing would be suitable, but the graveyard was next to their church, and the church was in town square. I recall thinking it odd for the town's boneyard to be in the heart of the village, but these rustics on the frontier do strange things. Regardless, this town would not do. Perhaps Carnstown, about 2 weeks' journey from here, would be more appropriate. It was known to be a large but mostly lawless town, so I truly hoped my search would end favorably there. At the end of another day of walking past the occasional farmstead nestled into the forest, I sought a place to make camp. Coming upon a roadside clearing, I tried to get some sleep. But as was the case every night on the road, sleep was fitful and unsatisfying. In the morning, as I was about to depart, though, I heard what sounded like crying coming from deeper in the wood. Creeping forward, I spied a clearing with a number of wooden markers planted in the ground. Had I stumbled upon a farmstead graveyard? At the far side stood several people gathered in a half circle with their backs toward me. They watched as one man shoveled dirt. The women were sobbing. After a moment, the people all left, never noticing me as I skulked the edge of the forest. Where they were standing were 2 new markers at the end of 2 fresh piles of dirt. I could not believe my luck. Not one fresh body, but 2. 2 chances to realize my life's work. And this place was as remote as I could have hoped for. I resolved to return in the night, open the graves, and conduct my tests. I set up a new camp deep in the woods and attempted to get some rest. I knew it would be a long night, so sleep now would be helpful. But with the anticipation, I could not sleep. After the sunset, I returned. Digging through the fresh, soft earth was easy, and I soon had both bodies uncovered. They appeared to be young, strong men, felled by injuries. One with a crushed chest, the other with a deep gash from shoulder to heart. I hauled them out of their earthen beds and arranged them in the circle needed for the reanimation ritual. I conducted the reanimation ritual more carefully, making sure not to make the same errors as last time. My care was rewarded. At the end of the ritual, I had 2 docile zombies waiting my commands. All that stood between me and triumph was to administer my elixir and await the transformation. Handing the vial to one of the pair, I directed it to drink, and it did. The transformation was rapid, but not what I anticipated. Initially, the undead being collapsed, writhing, as if fighting with itself. But when the convulsion subsided, the creature looked up at me not with the eyes of intelligence, but with the eyes of rage and hatred. It leapt for me, and sunk its sharp teeth into my shoulder before I could even react. I do not recall how I managed to get out of its grasp, or how I managed to outrun it. When I regained my composure, I found myself running down the road toward Carnstown. My face was bleeding from claw marks. My shoulder throbbed painfully where it had been bitten. I ran until I could run no farther, and collapsed on the side of the road. But though I was exhausted and hurt, my sleep was tortured by pain and horrid nightmares. When I awoke, I knew I was in trouble. I was feverish, and after being attacked by a creature such as I had inadvertently made last night, I knew what that meant. I was infected, and if I let this infection take me, I would die, then rise as a creature just like him. As I fumbled through my pack, I realized I did not even remember grabbing it in my escape. Somewhere in my pack, though, I had elixirs to treat diseases such as this, but I could not find them. In fact, several vials were missing. They must have fallen out in my haste to grab the pack and run. It appeared at least that all my raw ingredients were there. I could make more elixir if I had a quiet, safe place to work. I recall hearing from the Fabridge Crossing townsfolk that there was an inn along this road. If I could just reach it, if I could concoct the elixir I needed to survive. I was tired and sick, but I had no choice but to move on, hoping the inn was close enough to reach before nightfall. It barely was. There were fewer than a dozen patrons in the inn when I arrived. Though I was brusque with him, the innkeeper was kind, accommodating, and asked no questions. He showed me to a private cabin behind the inn and promised to leave me in peace. Except for an old woman who brought me a bowl of stew and a pot of tea, I was indeed alone. Rummaging through what was left in my pack, I realized to my dismay that I was missing one key ingredient for my antidote. But I was tired, so tired. In the morning, I would find what I needed and heal myself. Collapsing on the bed, raging with fever now, I tried to sleep, but I could not. And so, I was still awake as I felt death's cold icy fingers slowly closed around my throat in the dead of the night. Chapter 3. Hungry. Hungry. I recall awakening in a dark, quiet place. I was confused. I was certain I was about to die. It appeared that even in death I could not sleep. And then I sensed the rage and the hunger, the ravenous hunger. I felt a desire to seek out living flesh and devour it. But at the same time, I realized it wasn't really me feeling these feelings. I was there inside this raging, ravenous mind. But these were not really my thoughts. I felt them. I shared them. They were not mine. As the true owner of these sensations began to push and dig and claw upward through the dirt that enveloped it, I realized I was an observer, but an observer from within the beast. My mind was trapped deep within the raging mad creature, powerless to direct it or help myself. I recall wondering, was it my mind, or was it my very soul that was trapped so? After many minutes of clawing, my host broke free of the grave. For it was most certainly a grave that had enveloped it. Looking around, I realized we were behind the inn, some distance beyond the cabins, and near a few small plowed and planted fields that no doubt serviced the inn's kitchen. Sniffing the air, we launched ourselves toward the small home located among the fields. We approached the house rapidly and thrust ourselves out the door, attempting to break it down and get at the fresh, live meat within. We could smell it, and the odor enhanced the hatred and rage. We hated it, but we needed to feed on it. We pounded at the door repeatedly, urged on by the cries and sobs of whoever it was on the other side of the portal. But before we could get through the stout wooden door, another odor reached us. More fresh meat. Turning, we saw several living beings not protected by walls and doors. A fresh meal out in the open for us to feast on. I recall noticing the moonlight glinting off the sharp blades held by these beings. I immediately understood the import of these blades, but the raging creature that was in control either did not see them or did not care. We approached this new prey, and I sensed the creature was my host and jailer trying to choose which to feast upon first. The axe blade cut deep into the bloodless flesh of the creature that I had become. Once, twice. With the third strike, I watched my headless body remain standing, twitching for a moment as my head struck the ground and rolled. My still open eyes saw my body finally crumble and lie still. I felt the hunger within me fading. The rage against anything that lived was receding. It seemed as if I was finally being released from the tiny prison in which my mind was trapped. My body would be my own once more, if only for another moment before death took me again. But I felt a peace begin to overtake me, such as I had never known before. I had dreams of creating a useful servant, but I now know that even if I had succeeded, I would merely have created a prison for a mind. The spark that was me, my mind, my soul, was helpless as this creature sniffed and hunted for living flesh. The remnant of my mind could do nothing to quell the hatred that raged as it tried to tear down the door. I felt nothing but terror and revulsion as I sensed its anticipation of ripping into living flesh and consuming it. Even if I had created a docile servant, I realized it would have been nothing more than an eternal hell for the mind and soul of the being whose body it was trapped within. It is better that I failed, and I am grateful to the axe that freed me from my prison. My instructors at the university had been right all along. Now, finally, I am at peace. No longer driven by my dreams. No longer driven by anything. Now, finally, I can sleep. I felt like an extra pause was needed at the end of that one. That was a good one. I really like that. That was fun because I really was able to get into the character of was it Carl? was Carl. I really enjoyed being able to get right into that and the meat of it and kind of try to feel what he was feeling and try to really kind of build it up. Makes sense. The journal is still zero. Yeah, Bob, this was a great one. This is a good one. If you don't mind, I may go and that may be one I'm definitely going to, as I started last week and I'm going to do this week. Anybody who I read this week, by probably Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon, I will put up on my YouTube channel. So you've got them there forever. Some of them I may go back and do again, and add some music or add some stuff to, because they're a lot of fun. But this was a really good one. Thank you, Stormbrill, for the compliment. And yes, it was a really great story. I really enjoyed that. Dizzy, thank you for the Kahuna crowns. Woohoo! Getting closer to that more free stuff. Loud applause and whistles. First person zombie story. Yeah, I like that. That was a whole different twist. Thank you, Bob, and thank you, Dazzly. It was fun. I enjoyed that. The raffle has ended. So if you're in, I will pick a winner shortly. However, we are going to read Sables. As only a soldier can. I'm going to read that one because apparently I have some challenges on how I really get to mispronounce things and then learn to pronounce them. Oh, thank you, Dizzy. Thank you for the bits. That's awesome. Thank you so much. All right, so let's see what I can do with this one here. So don't go anywhere yet. After this, I'll close out the raffle and we'll figure out who gets the sticker. All right, let's see. Let's open this up here. As only a soldier can. Selena cast a furtive glance toward her brother at the bar, where his massive shoulders, so strange for an elf, hunched over his tankard. He was already on his third beer. Made him in the tavern for maybe 2 bells, about half an hour. Since his ship had gone down, Shandar hadn't been the same. He'd spent 3 years as a prisoner of war under the orcs. What horrors he'd experienced, she couldn't imagine. But the scuttlebutt among the Avalonian Navy command officers was that he'd been subjected to some kind of brainwashing program. That would explain why he insisted on wearing orc armor and carrying that ridiculously clumsy axe everywhere for so long. She'd thought his recent choice to stop doing that was a sign of recovery at last. But then, he'd started drinking more heavily than he had before. She sighed. Shandar would sense if she stared too long, so she dropped her gaze back to the rough-cut runes carved in the ship plank table. They looked like dwarven runes, but it was no dwarven dialect she knew. Selena was hardly an expert, but elves frankly dealt with dwarves, sometimes for trade, sometimes in war, and her school believed some grounding was important. If a Tayak or Tawak, she puzzled out slowly. Why so many double letters? 2 different H's, A's, and U's? Tayak? She understood none of it. What's that? Her husband Valric asked, turning his sharp copper-flecked green eyes her way. Just some writing on the table. She tapped it with her nail. Valric leaned over to get a better look. Means nothing to me. Can you make anything out of it, Kaiman? Selena's other husband stopped scratching his crotch with his wand and stuck his wild mop of black hair in her face. If Tayak Hub utayak. You can read it? Nope. Sheer nonsense. It's not Norse, is it? Valric asked his brother. Selena smiled. For identical twins, they could not look less alike. Valric's hair was smoothed back in a tight ponytail. His silk shirt was tasteful and immaculate, while Kaiman's was torn at the sleeve, stained with something colorful that could have been exotic chemicals or finger paints. Kaiman shook his head. Nah, the Norse only used the elder footark. This uses both the elder and the younger. It sounds like it might be Orcish, said her brother suddenly from above her head. Selena couldn't help but jump. Didn't mean to startle you, Shandar said more softly. Perhaps he was aware of what an imposing figure he made. Her husbands were big for elves, but Shandar dwarfed them both. He hadn't been that big when they were younger, nor had as many scars. May I see? Selena scraped her chair over to let Shandar lean in by the shoulder. A whiff of stale sweat and alcohol made her wrinkle her nose. He traced the knife-scratched runes with the pad of a calloused finger. Selena smiled. The cuff of his sailcloth shirt was stained, as always. Dad had despaired of him ever keeping a uniform clean. Il iva tarak, lub utarak, he rattled off immediately. A splinter came away. He rubbed it in his fingers. Smiled for the first time in days. Selena tried to repeat the phrase under her breath. No. I know that looks like Agalaz. He damned a symbol in the first word, which looked like one of the two alternate H runes Selena knew. But when Ilatha and the One Eyes created the written form of Baloric, he pronounced it with an almost swallowed O and a rolled, if not growled, R. There was only one L tune, Laguz, one L rune, Laguz, in the known runic alphabets, but there's two different L sounds in Baloric. The other said more with the tongue on the palate, and you blow a little air past it, so it sounds a bit like an H. Selena, it sounded guttural. She imitated him. Not bad, he said with a nod. Sounds a bit like some Nunehi dialects. Like in Veldara. Shandar made his eyes and his smile broadened. You would know. They're your people, after all. Il. Eva. Eva. Short eye. Shandar interrupted. Orc runes must say exactly what they mean. She nodded. Il Iva Tarak. She rolled the R's, looked up at him for confirmation. Pretty close. You got the R sound right. But those two separate A sounds rolled together. A as in cat and A as in tar. Arr. Selena smiled. She hadn't seen her brother this animated in quite some time. How many times had Chandra leaned over her shoulder just like this, carefully tutoring her through? The schoolwork he'd always found was so much less difficult. Her belly warmed. Il Iva Tarak. There's that strange L sound again. Is that long U or the short U? Long U, like in rune. Il Iva Tarak. Is it the long U? Also long U? More like the sound I used to make when you hit me in the solar plexus. Like in book. The corner of his mouth twitched. Selena snorted. I only ever did that once. His smile broke through again. She answered it with a grin. Il Iva Tarak Lub Tar Oak. She pronounced the last a bit like hawk. But Shandar shook his head again. Almost perfect. But remember, I said orc runes say exactly what they mean. They pronounce the H sound. It's not silence. Ach, like you're about to cough up some phlegm. She giggled. Orcs are weird, aren't they? Il iva tarak lub tar ach. She overdid the hack like a cat with a hairball and coughed. Good, excellent. I was a little strong on the end, but fantastic for a first try. He gave her shoulder a squeeze. You got some drool on your lip. Selena wiped it away. Her brother shrugged. I was always drooning when I was learning Baloric. So what does it mean? Shandar tapped the longest word and then the shorter one that looked similar. I'm sure you can see these two words are related. Tarak means war. Tar means warrior or fighter. Okay, so is this some kind of written threat? Her brother's smile was odd, off-kilter somehow. Not at all. If it's anything, it's the opposite. It's philosophy. Valric raised an eyebrow. Orcs have philosophy? Now Shandar's smile was downright strange, as if his lips were pulled too tightly over his teeth. Contrary to popular belief, yes they do. 'Tis a proverb from Elatha himself, the hero philosopher who founded the Baloric, the Balorian people. The Balorians, Selena knew, were the leaders of the Orcs and the Fomorian Empire, who had started the last war. How Shandar knew all this about them, she could hardly guess. Shandar pointed out each word as he translated it. Il is a first-person pronoun. It means I or me. Iva is to hate or deplore. Tarak, war, you already know. Lub is like as similar to. U means only, and ach is can. Baloric uses an unusual syntax. Subject, verb, object, and they don't have prepositions like he, like the. Il iva tarak lub u tar ach. Me hate war, only like only warrior can. She met Shandar's eyes. I hate war as only a soldier can, Shandar quoted. He tried to smile, but his mouth was pinched. The wisdom of Elatha. He thumped his chest in an orcish salute, downed the rest of his tankard, and went back to the bar. This time, he called for rum. Selena wanted to crawl into her boots. I said something wrong. She wondered what it was that upset him. Seemed so easy to do since the war. He was never like that when they were growing up. She was always the one who took things personally. But Valric and Cayman were both giving her brother long looks. What? What is it? He wasn't in an orcish prison camp, Valric said with a frown. Or at least, that's not the whole story. What? What do you mean? Well, I can see him having learned to speak in Orcish in a Fomorian prison. He'd almost have to do that for his own survival. But why would they have taught him to read it? Yeah, Cayman agreed. That would be kind of self-defeating. He might learn stuff he could use to escape that way. Or intelligence he could pass back to Avalonian Star Command. Selena stared at him and shrugged. Even if he did learn how to read Orcish somehow, added Valric, I sincerely doubt they'd be educating him in the Balorian classics. Balorian classics, who knew? He studied Shandar's broad back as he broke open the cork on a rum bottle and filled his tanker. No, there's more to that story. A trap door opened up under Selena's stomach. So what does that mean then? Is the Navy right? Was he brainwashed? Is my brother a traitor? She wanted to scream. She clamped her mouth shut. To her relief, Cayman shook his head. No, he doesn't believe like someone who's been programmed. I'd know. Selena studied him for a moment to see if this was one of Cayman's many jokes, but for once his face was deadly serious. Valric bit his lip. It means the Navy wants us to think he's been brainwashed. They want him discredited and distrusted, which means there must be something they're covering up, and they sold him out to do it. Cold anger oozed through Selena's veins. It was as bitter as spruce tea and hard as ice. And I believed it, she said. She felt ill. How could she have even doubted him? What were you really doing in the war, big brother? She wondered aloud. If he heard, Shandar did not answer. Instead, he knocked back his tankard and refilled it. Sable, I apologize for completely bashing those up. Man. Those are ones I kind of need to read ahead of time just so I can not destroy them as badly as I did. I'm so sorry. I like the story. I like the goal, and I like the questions that it asks and that it makes you think about. I'll admit, I don't do great with some of the languages. Oh, thank you, Dazzly. That's very, very kind of you. It was a little bit of a tricky one. As always, though, I enjoy reading these. They're fun to do. So, we're a little over on the stream. By the way, does anybody know who we can raid? Because I want to raid somebody, but I don't know who's there. We've got everybody in for the raffle. So, yeah, you did say it was a challenge. Oh, yeah, it was. I think my biggest problem was I didn't realize that the two were twins until after I started doing the voices. And so, therefore, I started with two different voices. Then I realized similar voices would be better later. So my voices got a little bit muddled. So, Bob, thank you for the Kahuna crowns. Oh, and there's the backstory. I'm going to have to read that one. Nobody online, your end. Yeah, let's pick a winner, and then if you guys see someone or know someone who needs a raid, would like a raid, could use a raid, pop them in. And let's see here. Dizzy, how did you do this twice? Because now Dizzy gets one of those too. How did you do that? Yeah, my ASC calendar has stopped working too, so we're really going to have to look at it because it's not... I can't pull it on. Roll Society is supposed to be on, but not up. I've found that they usually come on late. Late in their stream time. Like 10 to 15 minutes late. Dizzy's a very lucky man. Song, if you want to get yourself up for a stream, I'll hang till you're ready. I need to go take some Advil because my construction efforts have really done a number on my back. Salty Sailor. I don't know Salty Sailor. Oh, thank you, Dizzy. That's awesome. We got lots of cheers. So... let's toss that in there. Prize is assigned, and now I'm going to complete it. All right. Just signed up for a free World Download account. Awesome. Dizzy, you're going to really enjoy that. It's, it has so helped me with creating my world and doing my writing. Yeah. Start filling it up. You'll find more things to fill. It's fun. Daly does short story writing. You do short story writing? Awesome. As you can see, I will read them here. I have no problem with it. It takes a little longer, and that's okay. We're good with that. You will not regret it, Dizzy. You are one of us now. We have accepted you into our group. Please come join us. Join the Discord. Look for us. Yep. By the way, one more time, I will put my Discord channel or my Discord server link up or the whatchamahoota, the, what do we call that? Invite. Join the Discord server for World Anvil. You'll see us there in different places. Also, you can join my Discord server. Get on there, and like I said, in the Kahuna Reads channel, if there's something you want read, throw it in, because that's what it's for. I want you guys to be able to. I want you guys to be able to get your stuff read. I mean, that's why I do this. Sundays is all about me reading your guys' story. Those stories that I read today, I will be snipping into YouTube videos. Probably work on them tomorrow, have them up by Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon. And I will put those links in the after party, the Lair after party, live from the Kahuna Lair after party channel on my server, so you guys can see where those are. I may also put them in the Kahuna Reads channel. In fact, I'll put them in the Kahuna Reads channel for sure, because that way you guys can just go back there and see, and you can link to it if you want links to it. If you liked it enough to put links into your world, that'd be awesome. But you'll have them there for you. Dizzy will have one for me to read soon. Excellent. DM Stretch says he'll be right back. Right after these commercials. I'll link that in the article when you get it done. Yes, absolutely. Feel free. They are there. I've got the ones from last week up already. I will probably go back and do some of the older ones at some point when I get enough caught up and get the stuff behind us cleaned up. We have raised 15,000 of the, I think it's 20,000 for free stuff. So I'm thinking we're going to hit it this week. And Esong says they're live. So, with that, and the fact that I know Mrs. Kahuna is downstairs screaming at the TV because her Blackhawks are playing, I'm going to set up the raid. There's the raid. So let me pick a channel here. Esong, you get up so much quicker than I do when it comes to getting your channel up. It takes me like an hour. I'm not kidding. Esong Bird. Songbird. Yeah, it's not showing you there yet, Esong. It's not letting me start the raid. Songbird 24601. I'm going to just keep going back until I've got them all up, Kit. There's no reason not to. I think it's, we'll go back and fill them all in, and I'll add every week. So there'll be kind of an archive of the ones I've read. It's not that difficult. I think I've only done 4, maybe 5 of the Kahuna Reads at this point. So it's not too bad. Yeah, I used the Twitch raid command, and it didn't work. But let's try it. Songbird. Yeah, so my computer's going slowly. Sable, thank you for coming. Thank you for the raid, and it was a blast. Yours I may actually re-record now, knowing what's in it, so I can make it sound a little more coherent, while yet completely mispronouncing things. Let's see if this works. All right, now we're getting ready to start the raid. So it's going to start in about 6 seconds. So I'm going to sign off. I hope you guys have a great week. Remember, Tuesday is Kahuna Help at the same time, and we can talk about stuff. And Barbarossa, if you want to talk then, if you've got time then, we can talk about how to create regions for you. You guys have a great night. We'll see you on Tuesday.